What is up, English 3 students? This is Mr. Hantak with some guidance on writing your thesis statement, getting started with your college application essay. As it says, please watch this video for a refresher course. I will try to keep this really short as we work today. It does say for your convenience, the essay prompts are below, so I actually want to look at this real briefly. So you have a paper copy of these prompts. By now you should know which prompt you want to go with, whether that's a common application prompt, UW, a scholarship, or a different prompt that you found on your own. For my purposes, for this demonstration, I should say, I'm going to be using prompt number 5 right here. I want to discuss an event in my life that did spark a period of personal growth and a new understanding of myself specifically. So I won't go super far today, just want to show how thesis writing works. We'll also give a real brief overview of the outline as a whole. In the same document, which my students, I know you have this on paper. I would want you to do this step on paper. It says, as you pre-write, copy down your thesis statement in this space. You'll want to have this ready for when you start outlining. I'm actually going to do this in Word for myself. I just want to show you the process that I use for writing thesis statements, because I find that once I have this step done, the rest of the outline writes itself. So if I go to the outline document. All right, y'all, sorry. If there's a jump in the video, wanted to get this to a size that we could see better. This outline document is one that you also have access to in Schoology once you are ready. Notice that I bolded thesis. Do this first. So just a reminder that your thesis governs the rest of your essay. We want to make sure we have a solid one first. Now, the prompt I'm doing for myself is common application number 5. I want to talk about an event in my life that sparked personal growth. A way to think about your thesis statement is, hey, if I only have a sentence or two to answer that question, what would I say? Now, obviously, we have more than a sentence to work with, but if I have to boil this down to a very short answer to that question, I'm going to talk about the time when my high school German teacher called my parents when I was still in 8th grade to say, hey, your kid signed up for the wrong class. How do I say that in a sentence or two? I might frame it this way. I might say something like, that phone call. Now, keep in mind, I haven't clarified yet. That'll have to happen earlier as I'm giving some background about just my story or my situation there. That phone call. Actually, no, I'm not going to call it that. I'll give his name. Mr. Bachfischer's phone call was a simple turning point in my life. Period. I'll do 2 sentences here. His challenge to start off in honors German 1 put me on a path. I'm actually going to use number 1 right here because that looks like I. Put me on a path to discover language skills, language abilities I did not know I possessed. Is that a little bit wordy? Maybe. As I'm editing later, I might have to tweak that. A bit. But notice that in 2 sentences here, I've answered the question. Discuss an event in my life, Mr. Bachfischer's phone call. I'll have to give more detail, more context about it later. It was a simple turning point in my life. And then I also had to talk about how it grew me. His challenge to start off in Honors German 1 put me on a path to discover language abilities I did not know I possessed. I can also cheat a little bit with this one. I studied German in college as well as English education. I could easily tie in this part of my journey to what I did academically in college, or what I was going to do academically in college. We'll be working on the rest of the outline for a couple of school days as well, at the very least Friday and Monday, with that weekend in between. I've got some routes that I can take now with this. I could flesh out the rest of my introduction, so attention getter wise, I could pull something interesting about my story, or I could maybe write a phrase in German. I've got some options there on how I start this thing. I obviously need to give a little more context in the background here without telling my entire story. A little note that says the body can be divided at your choosing. Use as much or as little evidence as you need. If you're aiming for something shorter, something in like the 300 to 400 word range, you might only need 2 pieces of evidence with their commentary. Aiming for something more like 500 or 600 words, then yeah, maybe we're breaking into evidence 3, evidence 4. Keep in mind, there is no limits on how many body paragraphs you have. Totally fine to write 1 solid body paragraph. That might work really well for my topic, actually, just to kind of tell my story, flesh it out in 1 body paragraph. You can subdivide if you like. I made a little hint on the conclusion too. Your conclusion could be a good space to discuss your college or future plans. If you can find a way to tie in what you plan to do with your life, what you plan to do after high school, with the topic that you wrote about for your prompt. Obviously, that's going to be different from student to student, because it depends on the prompt that you chose. But a good route for your conclusion could be to tie it in to what you plan to do in college, show off a little bit about your aspirations and your goals for yourself. We'll be fleshing out outlines more in these coming days. What's most important for me is, can I see a solid thesis statement before you get to outlining? If you do this really early, feel free to start outlining today as well. Once again, I don't necessarily grade outlines based on how grammatically clean they are. I just want to see that you have a solid plan of attack for your essay. Please note, I will be available these next couple of days as well. I know I'm out Thursday morning, but I'll be back Thursday afternoon if you have any questions for me. Otherwise, come see me during those 4th or 8th hour preps if you ever have questions about outlining. I'm here for you.